On the back of this, let's have a general conversation on the state of some of the stadiums or the stadia we have in the country. Speak with Christopher Mwakwaman in the northern part of the country. He has visited the Tamale Sports Stadium. He joins us on Zoom to bring us up to speed on how the stadium is looking like. Chris, we're grateful for your time with us. What have you seen so far?
Yes, so currently I was at the Tamale Stadium, that's the Aliu Mahama Sports Stadium, and I must say, first of all, that the pitch is in a very deplorable state because, according to the sports authority people there, there is so much pressure on the pitch because the Division 1 league is played on the pitch, the Women's League and other leagues. That is also the place where RTU play its game. So because of the pressure on the pitch and taking into consideration the weather up north here around this time, the pitch is actually in a very deplorable state. I'm told it cannot host any international game.
But what has management been telling you? How are they dealing with the situation if this has persisted for a very long time?
Yes, management are tight-lipped because they do not want to comment on the issue, even though some of the people I met around told me that it's a very serious issue that has always been discussed, but not much attention has been given to the Tamale or Aliu Mahama Sports Stadium. The management at their own level, according to some people I met, that they had planned planting some grasses to give it a very touchy look. However, because of the severity of the weather here, coupled with the lack of water, they are unable to do that. So for the Tamale Sports Stadium, it should just totally be ruled out. And it's about time that the country takes steps, especially the sports ministry, to ensure that our stadiums are in a very good state so that we don't keep embarrassing ourselves in this manner.
Chris, we're grateful for your time with us on the bulletin. Thank you so much for joining us on Zoom. Christopher Mwakwaman brought us that report there. Remember that CAF has directed the Ghana Football Association to choose a different venue for the first leg of the FIFA World Cup qualifier between Ghana and Nigeria. This is because the officials of CAF assigned to inspect the Cape Coast Stadium have deemed it unfit to host the upcoming encounter. Emmanuel Samani has hit the streets for your views on the state of a stadia.
Omadia abro ankasa efise no munim say ye bebo ball no ho e no mu chusu ho e ho no munim say ye bebo ade na independent no o man fa nko ba bi foforo na next year no nyame ye yadom ye de akọ Cape Coast ho na nka say sa no mo ye no minima de kronti a o man manamba sa say ye de ball na ekọ obi kroso ade ye bu ye nsen ye penifo no mo de o mo de abro omo ana so mo hwe na ya bob ya park ni ye no omo de abro ankasa omo de abro.
You can't understand why it is so possible for people to live thinking that when you get something new, the thing will remain new until the end of the world. There is the need for regular maintenance of everything, including our own cars. So the same way when we have stadium and the stadium is getting older, we should be able to maintain it. If you go to some of the stadiums, you see the chairs broken up, nobody cares. I mean, these are things that you can't even think far as a country. You don't know whether we have responsible people who are supposed to take care of things that the government have used money to do.
It's very bad because up to now we don't have a venue for our game. And time is getting close and we have to get venue for our home, and up to now the stadiums are very bad, especially Accra Sports Stadium is very bad.
It is very, very disappointing. It's very, 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 very disappointing. Honestly, me, for instance, I have stopped watching Black Stars football because the heartbreak is too much. Our ranking has come very, very, very low.
The GFA should have sorted out these things long ago. What I heard from FIFA was that the pitch is not suitable to be used, which is so sad. It's, as a nation, with disqualified to play against Nigeria, and then they return like just in 4 days after the first leg played in Ghana. It's quite unfortunate.
Our leaders themselves, they are not serious, because per what we are hearing, even the workers, sometimes they are not being paid. So how would the workers even work on the pitch? It's not too late. We can look for people to come and work on it. but how many days? How fast can they pay the people when they even use their energy to work on the pitch? I don't know why Ghana leaders, all they know about is money spending and stuff. All the monies are being used on unnecessary things.
Well, if CAF has decided that the Cape Coast Stadium is unfit for purpose to play their World Cup qualifier match against Nigeria on, then it means it has some standards, some guidelines, some requirements on the standard pitch to play a World Cup qualifier on. Behind me are some of the requirements for a football stadium according to CAF. Let's quickly run you through a couple of them. And so in section 1, which talks about pitch surrounding areas, the field of play as per IFAB laws of the game, the field of play must be smooth and level. So this is one of the key important requirements, if you like, for according to CAF to have the game play. The field of play must be smooth and level. And in our situation, the field of play we have in the country are not smooth and are not level. We're still waiting for some further reviews to be done. The second says the stadium must be equipped with either a natural or artificial turf. The second point, according to CAF, is the stadium must be equipped with a natural or an artificial turf. Still in section 1, talking about the pitch surrounding areas, the field of play as per the International Football Association Board laws of the game. The third is artificial turf must meet all of the following conditions. If you decide to go with artificial turfs, these are the conditions it must meet. The first one is it must have been granted the required FIFA license, which can only be delivered after the turf in question has been tested by FIFA, accredited laboratory as meeting the FIFA quality standards for artificial turf. That is to say that there are some substandard artificial turfs in the country. It continues to say that it must meet all the requirements of the national legislation in force. Again, its surface must be green and marked in white. We will not be able to play on artificial turf that is, in a different color or different colors apart from green and white. So these are the pitch surrounding areas, the requirements of CAF on the field of play as per the IFAB laws of the game, the International Football Association Board of the game, on the back of the Ghana-Nigeria game, which was supposed to be played in Cape Coast, but the pitch has been declared unfit for purpose. Well, let's speak with Fred Echampong. He is a CAF match coordinator. He has inspected stadiums across the continent. He'll join us on Zoom, and we'll talk to him about what goes into stadium certification from his experiences. Join us on Zoom now. Fred, we're grateful for your time with us on the bulletin. With your experience touring the continent, inspecting pitches and stadia, what goes into, conditions and the requirements for selecting a pitch?
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. And I think that basically the things we're trying to run us through, but except that you were confined to only the pitch and its surroundings. I mean, there's more to it for a stadium. This is a complete whole thing. So apart from the pitch, which is very, very important, probably, there's no football without good pitches. And so pitch is very, very important. But beyond that, there are a lot of things you need to look up to, especially with the dressing rooms. So important because, the psychology of the game, will begin from the dressing room. So there are basic requirements that need to be met with the dressing rooms, the warm-up area, even the goalpost. How to, structure the goalpost and the spare posts as required for a proper organization of matches. The changing rooms for referees, the meeting rooms, parking areas, medical-related areas. There are a whole lot that you need to go through if you want to inspect a stadium and, award lines, doping control and the spectator stand and other areas. But at this point in time, what is brought us into the discussion is about the pitch. And so we'll try to limit ourselves to the pitch. Like you said, the pitch, first of all, must be even. The basic one is must be even before you even move to the smoothness of the pitch. But basically, most of the pitches we have here do not meet those things. But every now and then, we try to, be a bit considerate and accept some of these pitches. But the problem we've had is with what happened with the Cape Coast pitch. The pitch, I think that initially met the requirement. That's how come the pitch was awarded a license to organize the games. But because of what happened there, and the officials of the NSA and the groundsmen were working so hard to try and get a pitch in shape. But obviously, it was going to be very, very, very difficult in terms of the period within which the pitch, suffered the extra load on it, and then the time required for the game to happen.
So, Fred, with what we're looking at, the country has, if you like, over 5 stadia in a space of about 14 years. I mean, the lifespan of a stadium should be more than 14 years. Are we seeing this as a result of negligence, poor planning, lack of maintenance culture? What exactly is contributing to the situation we have here? Remember that Accra House of Oak has also been fined a couple of times because of the Accra Sports Stadium, the pitch in general.
Yeah, beyond that, I think the last time Ghana played, they fined us. I think we played against Tome and Principe. I'm not too sure about that, but I think the Black Stars. Last time Black Stars played there, because of the nature of the pitch, CAF fined us. So it tells you that the pitch is not up to the level required for the organization of such match. I think it's about maintenance. You see, if you look at what is happening with even the Esipon pitch stadium now, it's maintenance, and don't forget that this is requires expertise. I think somewhere we lack the expertise in terms of getting the mistake, because if the expertise is there, then the person will draw up maintenance period and the maintenance schedule. That at this period you have to do this. Even for pitch, for you to get it with the requirement that's smooth and level, this will be constant maintenance. But what we do here in Ghana is that, especially the pitches for the league games, they would prepare the pitch, everything, in anticipation of getting license for matches to be organized there. But after the club licensing officials have gone there, I think they will stop with the maintenance of the pitch. So after 6, 7, 8 games into the season, then the pitch will turn from green to brown, and with patches, a lot of patches on the pitch and other stuff. Our problem is about maintenance, constant maintenance. Pitch, it's just like a human being. I mean, it's growing, it's living. So just like human being, especially when it is that we don't have most of our pitches for the games are natural grass. So you need to constantly maintain it and feed it. But elsewhere, before games, there are times, maybe -90, you need to water the pitch. -10, that's before the kickoff, you need to water the pitch. Just after the warm-up, you need to water the pitch. Half-time, you water the pitch. And after the game ends, you water the pitch. There's constant maintenance. So those pitches we see there are not that, they are not magicians. It's just going through this.
So is it that we don't have the resources to be doing that? And it brings me to my last question, Fred. So how many stadia or stadiums do we have in the country that meet a certain standard?
No, I think the Cape Coast Stadium meets standard, the Accra Stadium meets standard, the Kumasi Stadium meets standard, the Tamale Stadium meets standard. What is left is to get aspect of it fixed to the level. For instance, the Accra Stadium, the pitch is not up to standard. The Cape Coast, that is what is in contention now. Now the Kumasi pitch is better. It's better than both Accra and Kumasi. The Kumasi pitch is better than what is at Accra and then Cape Coast. So that one, the pitch is okay. But beyond that, then you have to now zero in into the dress rooms and other areas which are important areas to organize games. So those are the things you have to look at. So at least we have the Tamale, Accra, Kumasi, and Cape Coast Stadium. If we put in the needed effort, all of them should be able to meet the standard. If you go to certain countries, they have about up to 5 pitches or stadium being approved by CAF. They have license of up to 5. Some have 3 stadiums. Recently in Cameroon, because of the AFCON, they will have more than 4 or 5 stadium, which is up to standard. In Morocco, they have that. In Egypt, they will have that. South Africa, they will have that. And so we need to maintain our pitches.
These pitches and stadiums you're talking about, Fred, with the limited time we have, do you think it is possible that we can work on them within 2 weeks?
Oh, yes. Yes, especially with the Kumasi Stadium, because first of all, the Kumasi Stadium, the pitch is okay. And so minor things to be able to earn what we call the emergency licenses. I think that one should be possible. The emergency license should be possible for us to play. I know, and I'm very certain, I'm sure that the game will be organized in Ghana. I'm certain that the game will be organized in Ghana. But beyond that, I think that we should be more proactive than being reactive.
True. Briefly, lastly, before you go, Fred, you were talking about the Cape Coast Stadium meeting standard. Do we have types of standards we're looking at here? According to CAF, the pitch does not meet a particular standard to play the qualifiers on. Do we have types of standard for the league games and for international matches like the qualifiers we're about to play?
Yeah, obviously, because some of the league centers that will play at the games, they will not be standard for international games to be played there. Even within the standard, for instance, a game like the World Cup qualifier, where it should be organized, or where a game like the Black Maidens or Black Princesses or the Black Starlets or the Black Starlets, where it will be approved for a game to be organized for the Black Starlets, being it AFCON qualifier or World Cup qualifier, might not meet the standard for the senior men's team, like the Black Stars to play there. So, i.e., they take the Accra Stadium, for instance. As the Accra Stadium stands now, it is eligible to organize game involving the junior national teams, maybe under 20, under 17, or Black Maidens or Black Princesses. But it is not eligible to organize the Black Stars game. So there are differences in terms of the competition involved. Right. For instance, the stadium meant for AFCON with stadium different from maybe under 20 AFCON. So obviously there are differences and then standards.